Hello. This portion is on debt and how we can avoid debt so you can build your wealth. 70% of Americans today live paycheck to paycheck, and hopefully, we're going to get that changed. The first thing we're going to talk about is debt and buying a car. um, so, if you are to buy a brand new car, your average car loan is, it says almost $500, but the average is $538 a month to buy a brand new car. If you are to buy a used car, it's $381 a month. And then if you are to lease a car, you're going to pay $430 a month. So we're always trying to say to buy used cars. A new car not only costs the most, $500 a month, but it loses value 15 to 20% in the first year. And over a 3 to 4 year span, that's 60%. So your car is worth less than half of what it was when you first bought it. So our biggest message is to pay cash for a 1 to 2 year old used car. You'll get more value out of it, and if you go to sell it, you'll do much better as well. Next section is mortgages. So if you purchase a home on a 15-year fixed rate loan versus a 30-year mortgage, or adjustable rate mortgages are bad financial decisions. If you buy your home for 15 years, you're going to paying more every month on your house payment, but in the end, you'll be saving money versus a 30-year mortgage, which is less monthly payments, but over time, you usually end up paying twice as much of a house. Here's a statistic here. So if you were to buy a house at $225,000, the mortgage for 30 years ends up averaging, this is how much you'd end up paying for your house. It was $225,000. You'd end up paying $485,000. That's twice as much as what the house was when you originally bought it. If you were to do a 15-year mortgage for the same cost of the house, $225,000, by paying just a little bit more every year and getting it paid off in 15 years, you would end up paying $341,000. So that's quite a huge difference. That's $144,000 that you'd be saving and be done in 15 years. If you ever want to go and just check it out, you can go to bankrate.com to compare a 15 to 30-year mortgage rate. And that's usually by putting down 20% of down payment, and they can kind of help you figure out. And you want to make sure, of course, that your interest rate is low. Okay. Next is credit cards. So credit cards is the most costly and most damaging to our debt. This is what gets us into tons and tons of trouble, starting from our high school, college years until we're adults now. Right now, the average interest rate on a credit card is 15 to 25%, depending on which one you've got and for how many years you've had it, but that's the average right now. 15 to 25% is your annual percentage rate. And people think, well, we need to have a credit card if we want to get hotel rooms or to rent a car to travel on a trip or something, but you don't need a credit card for anything. Your debit cards work exactly the same way, and so credit card just is not necessary. Some businesses will offer that introductory rate or same as cash, where if you pay now and you don't have to pay for 3 years. And so you think, okay, well, I'm going to get this credit card and I'll make sure I get it paid off before the interest rate comes to effect. And this is 85% of the people think this and end up having to pay on that credit card. And I'm not going to name any companies or anything, but I'm sure if you open up your wallet and looked in there, you'd see the different companies that you've done that with, that you thought you were getting a great deal on, furniture you might have purchased or whatnot, and you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I'm paying on that, and now I'm paying interest. So the best deal, best bet to do is to just not have a credit card, to use your debit card. And you can run a debit card as a credit card, but you still know that that money is coming out of your bank versus someone else's, and they're making a ton of money off of you. Next is your credit score. Now here's a chart that Experian put out about your FICO score, which is your credit score. A credit score is really just your debt score. It's how good you pay off your debt. How do you do it? And so the lowest you can be is a 30%, or I'm sorry, is 300. That's the lowest the score is, and it goes all the way up into 850. 300 would be that's pretty poor. Okay, and they usually say that if you are under 650 on your credit score, it's going to be hard for you to get a loan. Now, the best you can be is 850, and that's awesome. That's what we're all kind of trying to get to, or maybe we're there, and that's wonderful, wonderful. But the biggest thing is that you're making payments on time, and that you're trying to pay off your credit cards. And do know that if you pay off your credit card and then you go to close it, that will actually count against you if you close it. Paying it off is great. Closing it, for some reason, makes your credit score go down. So the only way to build your credit score is to get into debt, unfortunately. Stay in debt for a long period of time and make payments faithfully for that entire time. So with your credit cards, just pay them off as quickly as you can, and try not to get into credit card debt, because it's just this vicious circle of debt, and makes you feel like you're overwhelmed, and nobody likes that feeling at all. So thank you.